Well, the IPO market has been extra hot as of late, and ThoughtSpot is a pre-IPO company in the enterprise software space preparing for its public debut. And joining me now with all the details is ThoughtSpot co-founder and executive chairman, Ajeet Singh. Thanks for joining me today, Ajeet.
Thanks for having me, Alyssa.
All right, so you're no stranger to bringing companies public. You did so with Nutanix in 2016, and word on the street is that ThoughtSpot is set to have its IPO later this year. So talk to us about being in that pre-IPO stage and what it takes to prepare and I guess make the decision to go public for ThoughtSpot.
Yeah, thank you. So for those of your audience that may actually not know about ThoughtSpot, maybe I'll just tell them a little bit about who we are, what we do as a company, and we can talk about how we plan to build the company. So ThoughtSpot is, think of that as a search engine for data. We provide a cloud service that allows anyone to ask questions on their data in the cloud. And we have built a purpose-built search engine that uses a lot of new kind of search technology and AI to make it super easy for non-technical people, marketing, sales, finance, HR people to be able to ask very advanced questions. So think of that just like Google for data. Now, I can't comment on specific IPO plans per se, but I can tell you that from day one, we have been very focused on building a lasting, purpose-driven, mission-driven company. And our mission is to make the world more fact-driven. And I think the opportunity to make the world more fact-driven is practically infinite. You know, we've seen with everything happening around us across the globe, if we could inject more facts into our social life, in our personal life, in our businesses, we can all make better decisions and better choices as professionals, as individuals, and as a society. And we like to call ourselves only 2% done. We are on a very long journey, and it's our goal to build a company that can be a long-lasting company. So IPO will be a great milestone for us to hit. We as a company continue to focus on doing the right thing for our customers and adding more value to them. We don't wake up every day and think about how and when we can do IPO. But all the key characteristics of a lasting company, which is a differentiated product, a massive market, a great team, and a really authentic, amazing culture, all of those four things are present in spades when it comes to ThoughtSpot. And we hope that our goal and mission will actually come true as we continue to build.
Now, you mentioned having differentiating factors. So what do you think, can you drill down a little bit more about what sets ThoughtSpot apart from other companies from an investor standpoint, thinking down the road to that IPO in the enterprise software group, companies that are involved in data analytics? What is setting you apart from others in this space? What are you doing that can't be replicated? How are you staying on the cutting edge?
Yeah. So as an entrepreneur, I really think that the technology industry is evolving from being a provider of mere technology to provider of experiences. We are becoming a very experience-driven industry. The experience of being able to hail a cab, experience of being able to consume any service, the way we consume media, being able to entertain ourselves, all of that has fundamentally changed in the last 10 years. And we have seen during COVID, we can stay at home and be able to get all the supplies we need for running our household and food and everything. So completely different experience. And I have been very influenced by design thinking and user experience from very early in my career, almost 15 years ago. And so when we were starting ThoughtSpot, our point of view was that all the analytics tools that exist in the world, products like Tableau or Looker or Power BI, they are, for the time they were built and for the purpose they were built, they were really powerful tools, but they were built for data experts. Data experts would talk to business people, understand what they need, and then build a very specific recipe called a dashboard for them. But that's a very old way of doing things. Now, when I want some information, I just go to Google and ask. I want to go to a Starbucks, or I want to find out what is the latest movie that I want to watch, and so on and so forth. I don't go to an expert and ask them and wait for 1 week to get the answers that I need. And we wanted to deliver the very same user experience for data. The fundamental differentiating factor is that we have built a lot of technology in the back end that makes our user experience very simple, and it makes data very accessible to almost a billion plus knowledge workers that exist. That category of users has not been served. And we have seen with technologies like Snowflake, which are really successful companies, the data that is there, if you put a front end on top of that, which is built with a 20-year-old design, it's going to reduce the value that you can get from investments that you're making in the cloud. So we want to really make the data accessible, and it's the accessibility, it's the ease of use, the smartness that we have in AI that can bring insights to you without you even asking, without you knowing that those insights exist. That is the fundamental differentiating factor. And that's why we have been able to go to some of the most successful companies across different sectors, whether it is retail, whether it is financial services, healthcare, and be able to deliver a lot of value for them.
Yeah, and speaking of all these insights that you're talking about and making data more accessible for companies outside of those experts, there come issues of security. So if that information is mishandled, there could be issues. What's the company's approach to data safety and cybersecurity?
You are absolutely right. I think the technologies that were built in the past, they assumed that data is sitting in the walled garden and nobody has access to it. Only these 5 people, they have keys to the kingdom, so to speak. So the security actually wouldn't have worked in the cloud world, because in the cloud world, data is in somewhere stored somewhere. It could be accessed anywhere in the globe by anyone, because now the workforce is also becoming a lot more distributed. So you have to think about the security architecture in a different way. And when we were starting the company, my co-founders, they came from companies like Google and other web scale companies that have thought about security in a lot more fundamental way than a traditional enterprise company. And some of our earlier customers were, the largest banks and so on, which had extremely high security requirements. So ThoughtSpot has perhaps one of the most advanced security capabilities. It gives you a lot of very sophisticated ways to set up the system in a way that there might be 2,000 merchants that are accessing data related to sales, but whatever you are supposed to see, you will only see that and not others. Even search engine, when it makes suggestions to you, because every search engine makes recommendations on what you could type or type ahead, that is also security aware. So you wouldn't even see suggestions. Let's say you are in a bank, you wouldn't see names of clients if you are not supposed to be seeing those client names in that bank.
And with ThoughtSpot being such a young company and already having some pretty big names among its clientele, 50 of the Fortune 500 companies, you boast revenue growth of triple digits, 108%, the last reported revenue figure year over year. Can you talk to us a little bit about the company's growth trajectory thus far and where you see it headed over the course of the next year?
Yeah, certainly. Like I said earlier, I wouldn't comment on very specific financial numbers on this call, but we continue to grow in an extremely healthy way, even through COVID. In fact, what has happened in the last 12 months is that earlier we were selling our technology purely as software, but we launched our SaaS offering last year, and that has taken off extremely fast. In fact, much faster than what we had anticipated, because a lot of customers, they wanted to make it access ThoughtSpot technology, but they didn't want to go through the process of taking our software and deploying it in their cloud. So with our cloud offering, it's much easier now. You can go to ThoughtSpot, do a free trial, get your Snowflake or other cloud data warehouses connected to ThoughtSpot and be up and searching in literally 10 minutes. We've had customers that connected and boom, wow, I did not imagine that I could actually be seeing my Snowflake data being so accessible and so easy to manipulate and interrogate so quickly. So the time to value is significantly reduced. The speed at which we are now closing new contracts is significantly reduced. So we are firing on all cylinders. And I think the growth that has happened in the cloud ecosystem, it has been extremely well timed for us. Snowflake IPO couldn't have come at a better time. The rate at which they are growing, the rate at which Google BigQuery, Redshift, Azure cloud services, this is really well timed for us to be able to be that sort of search engine across all of this cloud data.
Well, you mentioned at the beginning that you set out to build a company that would last, and triple-digit revenue growth before the IPO even happens sounds like a very solid start. So thank you so much for filling us in on all things ThoughtSpot today.
Thank you so much, Alyssa. Thanks for having me.
Hi there. Thanks so much for watching Investing Strategies on our YouTube channel. If you want more executive interviews and analysis of key trends to watch, make sure you hit the subscribe button so you can stay up to date.